Hey y'all, this is Jeremiah, pastor at Centennial ARP. Thanks for tuning in for today's video devotional from Proverbs 2, the last two verses 21 and 22. For the upright will inhabit the land, and those with integrity will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the treacherous will be rooted out of it. Land is a key word, especially in the Old Testament, but honestly in the entirety of the Bible. God has used land over and over to reveal himself, to reveal his goodness, and to reveal his blessing of salvation to the people of God. So, for instance, as Adam is created in the very beginning, he has no land. Creation has been made, but he doesn't have a part of it until God puts him into the Garden of Eden and tells him to keep it. He gives him something. And because of this gift, man has a relationship with God that is formed. Eat of this fruit. Don't eat of this fruit. Keep the land, have babies. And all of a sudden, these commands from God are being met with Adam, and a relationship is formed and gifted out. Adam is able to reveal God. All of these things bear out because of this gift of the Garden of Eden. You can fast forward a little bit where you have Abram, we know as Abraham, who is landless. He's a sojourner. He's traveling around. And what does God say? It's one of the first things that God says. Hey, Abraham, look around. I'm going to give you all this land. You think, whoa, a landless man becomes a man with land, right? There's this gift of a country, of a place, and of a people. And again, you fast forward, you're in the Exodus where you're coming out of slavery in Egypt. It's not your land. It is another people's land. Those people who are against God. And what does God say? Go into this new land. There's sin that takes place in 40 years of wandering, and if you're familiar with that, you know why, and you know the nuances of that. But regardless, 40 years later, go into the land. I promised it to Abraham. I'm promising it to you. Here is land. Be fruitful, multiply, have meaning, see who I am, follow after me, reveal me to others. This is my command. And so the people of God seek to do that. They do it imperfectly because we are sinners. And we see that in our proverb here. But this concept of land is huge. What happens when the people's sin grows too great and God gives over his people to their sin for a time? What happens? Babylon comes and takes away their land, and the people are scattered and they are taken away to Babylon, and these Babylonians seize the land. And then you see in God's redemptive history and narrative after that, it's this journey to retrieve the land. And so time and time again, what we see is God revealing himself, his power, his justice, his goodness, his mercy, his salvation to his people. All of these things are being revealed through land. And so it should be very unsurprising to us that that the king of the land currently in this time, Solomon, right, he's writing and he's referencing this huge spiritual reality. It seems so opposite, right? Land, it's material. I can touch it, I can dig it. But in the Bible, when we see land, we should be recognizing the spiritual land and gift that God is beginning to give to his people and reveal to his people. That inheritance that is lasting forever, that heavenly land that we will have as all things are made new. Proverbs chapter 2, verse 21 and 22, the upright will inhabit the land, and those with integrity will remain in it, but the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the treacherous will be rooted out of it. Dear Christian today, do you know your righteousness? Do you know your wickedness? God is very good, and he is very patient. He is merciful. His steadfast love abounds to the 1,000th generation. And yet, even so, God's justice is meted out. And we see that here. The wicked will be cut off from the land. Have you put your faith in Jesus? Have you sought to find your righteousness in a place that cannot be taken away by dust and moths and rust? But do you have that eternal inheritance and treasure that can only be found in belief through Jesus? And in that moment today, have you realized that you have a land that you will remain in, that you have an inheritance, and that God has given that to you with wisdom and with the fear of the Lord, which we've seen in Proverbs 2. Now we see the culmination. We see that you will be blessed. Even if it doesn't seem like it or feel like it or look like it here, it's a spiritual reality. Seize it and hold fast to it today.